Better wait for Zen. Turn the recording equipment on. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting, Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners, back to order. And we still have Commissioner Vogler on the phone?
Yes.
And Commissioner Macbeth?
Yes.
I kind of previously cut you off, Mr. Macbeth, back on number 5. I said this was the appropriate time, so if you'd like to continue with your previous comments or anything else.
Yeah, I think I'm troubled mostly by the fact that the state personnel office, as well as Endow's HR people, had made a recommendation, and one of our candidates not be extended an invitation, and basically their charge is to make sure that the candidates meet the statutory minimum that's set forth in NRS. And I am going to feel very uncomfortable going against our state agencies that make these determinations to make a recommendation to the governor. I just think that it certainly won't look good to the for the commission to do that, and so I just hope that it's unfortunate that it's gotten to this level, but we're here. But I think we need to be cognizant of that and be careful in who we make a recommendation to the governor.
Okay. Point well taken.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Howell.
Would it be appropriate for me to make a motion at this time?
I suppose. I mean, we've all read. I mean, that's your prerogative. I know we've all read over all the things, so.
My motion would include 3 of the participants today, and I would rank them in this fashion. Mr. Beach, 3rd place. Mr. Bertolotti, 2nd place. And Mr. Lansford in 1st place as our choices for the new director position. My motion is...
I'll second that motion.
Okay. For purposes of discussion, it's been properly moved and seconded. We'll have some discussion on that. Just to clarify, what's been moved and seconded was to submit 3 candidates to the governor. Number 1 being Kevin Lansford, 2 being Gary Bertolotti, and number 3 being Robert Beach, ranked in that order. Is that correct? All right. Now, for discussion on this matter, I mean, just anyone wants to discuss it? I know we've all, just for general purposes, I know I've spent a lot of time looking over the qualifications of these people, looking over their resumes. It's been some really good information we've got about them today. And so we've all spent many hours on this issue. We'd like to discuss. Go ahead, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going back on my notes. Beach, I like somebody that worked in Nevada before. He's worked in Nevada for 9 years history. He's done research.
Commissioner Rain?
Yes.
Would you please have whoever's speaking to speak more into the microphone?
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Can you hear? Is this any better?
That's better.
Mr. Chairman, I just going through my notes here, and I just want to make a couple comments, and I'm going in the order that I've made the notes. But I like Mr. Beach because he worked in Nevada before, and getting somebody with Nevada experience, I think I was interested in, and he's got a history of that, and he's also have a history in resource protection. Mr. Bertolotti, he was also in Reno, as a fisheries biologist, started his career, and he's got experience in mitigation with dams for fisheries, budgeting, all fisheries and hatcheries, and federal aid. He's got experience with that. Worked with a lot of feds and legislative on the PCBs, solved problems with fisheries group, responded to public needs. He's got lots of coordination qualities. And the next candidate, Langsford, he's also worked in Nevada. He's got a lot of Nevada experience, which I was impressed with. And then, of course, Mr. Mayor, he's worked in California, Deer Supervisor, Program Coordinator. He was Assistant Deputy Director in California, and of course he's worked in Nevada for the as director the last 4 years. Some of the questions I had on that about looking at the hard data and collecting data, some of his priorities. The other candidate, Rakowicz, I hope I'm saying that right, he's got strong skills in pulling people together, enjoys teamwork, which I think is very important, team player. But I didn't think he had, like the Taylor Grazing Act, and I was sort of questioning all the experience he had, or the minimum experience he had, and I don't think he would have enough experience on this job. I didn't get that impression, and that's my opinion of the candidates. So I would agree with probably the motion.
All right. I'll go over a few points here, but I also have further discussion. All right, I mean...
I have a point, Scott, when you're ready.
You have a what?
I would like to make a point.
A point? Well, if you're ready to make a point, go ahead and make a point.
Okay. First of all, the statute doesn't require us to rank these people. Doesn't forbid it. But I don't know if I feel comfortable ranking. We're supposed to make nominations, and I also want to point out that it's 3 or more. We don't have to be limited to just 3. And so for that, I would like to make a motion to amend the motion. My motion would be to nominate, and just going alphabetically with no preference as to having any that the order has any impact on the decision of the governor, would be to nominate Robert Beach, Gary Bertolotti, Kevin Lansford, and Kenneth Mayer.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the main motion to have those 4 candidates in no particular order. So that's an amendment for the discussion of that amendment. I'm go back to a few things here. Now on these candidates, Commissioner Rakowicz, Mr. Rakowicz, good personal style, and undoubtedly in a few years more experience, but clearly be able to ready to lead a state department. Like I say, with experience on that, probably just not quite there, perhaps fairly close. I did like very much honest enough to tell us what he knows and what he doesn't know. I mean, that was the one thing about Taylor Grazing Act question that to me was one of the most superior replies. Wasn't good, he didn't know what it was, but the honesty, that shows me a lot. Unfortunately, I just worry about the experience portion thereof. I really liked on the physical note of a few of the candidates much better than other candidates. The physical, for instance, Mr. Lansford had some ideas about better utilizing current funding, and he expounded on that for quite a while. That physical responsibility was very good. I also heard basically the same thing from Mr. Bertolotti, who clearly has superior negotiation skills. That was a major plus for Mr. Bertolotti. Mr. Beach, if he had had a superior ability, and that would be very demonstrated in a way to work with the federal government. I mean, clearly if any of the individuals had a has experience working with the federal government, that would be Mr. Beach, and actually to some degree Mr. Lansford as well. Of course, not quite as many years, but nonetheless, still a superior ability in that aspect. Just I go over the more positive aspects of these candidates. So there we go. Go ahead. Further discussion on the amendment to the motion. Commissioner Cavan?
I was just going to comment on the candidates, or
Yeah, well, we're making a motion on the candidates, so that'd be appropriate.
I'll go down the list in the order that they're listed here. Obviously, Mr. Beach is qualified. That wasn't a problem. I think he has the administrative skills and whatnot to meet NRS. Mr. Bertolotti, I think, is very well qualified, and I actually would put him very high on the list. Mr. Lansford is qualified. I'd say a little lower on the list as far as his total experience. Acting Director Mayer, obviously qualified. He's been here and been doing the job. And Mr. Rakowitz, I think, probably meets the very minimum of the qualifications, but I really don't think he's director of material at this point in time.
All right, we have somebody speaking Spanish on the telephone. Por favor, mantiene silencio. All right.
And I think if we...
All right. Somebody's over the phone is speaking Spanish there. Thank you.
I heard him hang up.
Gracias.
Okay. So I think putting personalities aside, I think we have, my order would be Mr. Mayer and Mr. Bertolotti at the very top, and Mr. Beach and Mr. Lansford coming in after that. And I think we should send all four of those names to the governor.
All right. Anything else down at this end? Seeing nothing, we'll move down to Commissioner Pearl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would agree on the comments on Mr. Rakowitz. I believe that he met the minimum standards necessary to compete for this position. And that was my position in the committee, and that I think he, at some point in time, will make an excellent director in the future. I think his answers were actually pretty good. It's very unfortunate that he wasn't aware of the Taylor Grazing Act, but I think it is important to understand that he from his explanations, that he understands the need for both multiple use and to allow for consumptive and non-consumptive uses. And I think that was really the intent of what the question was, is that we have a need to take into account the multiple use of natural resources in this state and every other state. But again, I'm glad we did invite him to speak. I thought he was well spoken. I do admire someone who says, I'm not going to try to BS you. I don't know what the act was specifically, and so I would do a disservice by trying to answer it. I think that's refreshing to have that kind of candor. But I think definitely that he should be dropped from consideration on this list. I think the rest of them all had strong points. I'm impressed with the list of people. It's unfortunate that another one that was, I believe, from his resume was very well qualified, dropped out for whatever his reasons were. But I'm impressed with the background, education, experience, broad knowledge, the ability to set forth what he believed, what each one of them believed was the philosophy that they had and how they would deal with the commission. Many cases, in interviews such as this, you have to kind of read between the lines too, and to look at their body of work to see where things are. But the fact of the matter is that there are some who are more qualified than others to be included in the list going up, and I'm pretty much finished with my comments. I think all of the rest of them have qualifications that are necessary to be considered. Again, some of them are more qualified than others.
Thanks. Mr. Vice Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I've been through, this is my third director selection process I've been through, and not as a commissioner, but I'll tell you, there's never been more than 3 names ever submitted to a governor. In fact, the first time the governor said, I don't even need 3 names, I do recall, and so we've never had a history of submitting more than 3 names to a governor.
Very good, and that's what we're here for. All right, so everybody understand the amendment? This would simply amend the main motion, and that amendment was to include those 4 candidates we previously named. Do I need to rename them? Let me check with well, the maker of the motion understands. Mr. Vogler, do you understand the amendment? Mr. Vogler?
Yes, I understand the amendment to the motion.
Okay, thank you. Everybody understand the amendment? Proceed to vote to amend the main motion. All in favor of amending? I'd like to poll the people on the telephone first, and then we'll have a show of hands here in the room. Commissioner Macbeth?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
No.
And then a show of hands here in the room. All in favor of the motion to amend, signify by raising your hand. Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Wallace, all opposed. Other 4 commissioners, Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Shrum, Commissioner Howell, and Vice Chairman Lent. So that motion to amend fails 5-3. So now we're back to the main motion, and that main motion is to send 3 candidates to the governor, Kevin Lansford, Gary Bertolotti, and Robert Beach in that particular order. Commissioner Capurro?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to throw it out there about the possibility of submitting the names without a designation as to whether they were 1, 2, or 3. I think if we find that the individuals are qualified, then I think it's unnecessary, and I think it gives the governor a little more leeway in how he selects who he wants for the position. And I would therefore ask that we amend the main motion by eliminating the ranking of the 3 that have been discussed.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Capurro, seconded by Commissioner Cavan to amend the motion to the main motion to send the 3 candidates previously mentioned, Kevin Lansford, Gary Bertolotti, Robert Beach, without ranking them. So if we vote on, when we vote on this, we will vote on amending the main motion, not on the motion, just an amendment. Go ahead, Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Hank Vogler for the record. Should Mr. Howell's motion state that we will give these 3 names to Ryan Stockton or whoever to present them to the governor? Shouldn't that language be in there also?
Okay, the suggestion being that we have the Deputy Attorney General write a formal letter to the governor informing him of of this decision. Perhaps we could have that in a separate motion afterwards?
Okay, thank you. The semantics of it, I just wanted it done right.
Okay, when we get done, however it comes out, we'll entertain that motion if that's all right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have an amendment and we have discussion on the amendment. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, just discussion on the amendment. I'm not against the amendment, but on the 2 directors ago, they were the applicants or the successful ones who submitted to the governor. They were ranked 1, 2, and 3. Or it wasn't the governor; it was the natural resources director, and he picked number 3. So I don't know if ranking them 1, 2, and 3 really makes a lot of difference. They're going to pick whoever they want, regardless of whether we say 1, 2, and 3. I don't know how important that is to do it. I agree that they're all qualified in our opinion, and I think governor's going to take a look at them and pick who he wants, regardless how we rank them. I don't know if we should do it or not. I'm sort of whatever this body wants to do, I'm sure is going to be okay.
I could argue both ways on the subject as well. So anyways, so let's vote on the amendment. Go ahead, Commissioner Cavan.
Just a comment on the amendment. If we rank them, we're going to argue about the ranking for a while. So
there would be that.
I would say that that's my argument for not one of the arguments for not ranking them that hasn't been discussed.
All right. Well, I'm all for the most physically conservative candidates and the way they've come out. And anyways, we have a motion to amend the main motion. In this amendment, we'd be strictly voting on the amendment, and that would be to amend the motion that we send 3 candidates, Kevin Lansford, Gary Bertolotti, Robert Beach, with no ranking, if this amendment passes. And I'll go for on the phone first. All in favor of the amendment to the motion? Commissioner Macbeth?
Aye.
No.
Commissioner Vogler? No?
No.
Okay. Now, in favor, signify by raising your hands here in the room. And opposed, signify by raising your hands here in the room. Okay, let me read this off. So we have, in favor of the motion, Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Capurro. In favor of the motion to amend. And opposed, we have Commissioner Vogler, Commissioner Schrum, Commissioner Howell, Vice Chairman Lent, and
I made the second only to get it to discuss it. I don't have to vote for the motion if you make a second. You make a second so you can get it on the table, discuss it, and that's what I did.
And, there's some valid arguments both ways on this, and I will be voting in favor of the motion, so the motion passes. Now the main motion reads, as amended, send 3 names to the governor, Robert Beach, Gary Bertolotti, Kevin Lansford, without any particular order. Does everybody understand the main motion? We'll once again poll the commissioners on the telephone first. Commissioner Macbeth?
I'm going to be voting against the motion I just oppose the idea of only 3. I'd like to see 4, and so I'm voting against the process. I'm not voting against the 3 candidates, but that's my reason.
Okay. Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
In the room, if you could please signify by raising your hands in favor of the motion. We have Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Schrum, Commissioner Howell, Vice Chairman Lent. Opposed to the motion, we have Commissioner Cavan and Commissioner Wallace. And I'll be voting in favor of the motion. The motion passes 6-3. And that we had another Commissioner Vogler asked for a motion earlier about a letter.
I would like to make the motion that just, if it's proper to do it through proper protocol, which I assume would be to give the 3 names that we've chosen to Brian Stockton and to present a formal letter to the governor of our choices.
Does everybody understand that? Okay, we have a question. We need a second before we discuss it.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Vogler, seconded by Commissioner Capurro, that we ask the Deputy Attorney General Brian Stockton to send a letter with this decision to the governor. Commissioner Capurro.
I do think that for the record that the only fair way to do it is to do it alphabetically so that there is no indication of any specific. Otherwise, I think if you take it out of kind of order, there's an indication of specific.
Is that acceptable to the maker of the motion?
Yes.
To do it alphabetically, okay. And the seconder made that suggestion. So the motion would be to send them alphabetically. We had discussion, Commissioner Cavan?
The question is, should it go through Brian Stockton or should it go through state personnel?
He would just write a letter, but it's from the commission.
But I mean, state personnel is the one that did all the announcement. So I'm just asking what the process is.
What I do know is past history, but go ahead.
Chairman Ray?
We have staff's going to answer the question, and then we'll be right there.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Christina Ross, Personnel Officer for NDOW HR. Personnel collaborated with me on the evaluations of the applications. They typically have not been involved in the recommendation to the governor.
Okay.
Right.
We had a comment from Commissioner Macbeth, I believe.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman Rain. And with all due respect to Commissioner Vogler, the statute reads that it says from among 3 or more nominees of the commission. The commission is making the nominations, and so my reading of this, I don't think our attorney from the Attorney General's office is really authorized. He's our advisor, but he's not really the person that should be acting. How this should work, in my opinion, based on the statute, is that the chairman of the commission should write the letter setting forth the nominations, from the commission, citing the action that was taken by the board. It's a board action of the commission, and the chairman should basically communicate that to the governor.
All right. Can you tell us the past history on this, please? Well,
Yeah, I think Jerry would be better
Okay.
to, because I wasn't in that part of the loop.
Okay. Go ahead, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the past, the commission has directed the Attorney General to represent or write a letter to the governor in their behalf with the results. And I think the Attorney General, our Deputy Attorney General, could write it in your behalf with with the commission's name on it. The commission, I forget what the wording of it was, but we could always get it out. But we could direct our Attorney General to do it like they did last time, because that's what they did last time. Thank you.
And he'd be doing it in the name of the commission. Exactly.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Commissioner Hall.
rather than put the names in alphabetical order, that could be misleading. My suggestion would be that in the letter, it's stated that there is no particular order.
In no particular order, okay?
Yeah, these are the 3 candidates that we selected. for
In no
your choice.
particular order. Is that acceptable to the maker of the motion, or we need to go with amendment process?
Yes.
You need a second?
Maker, is that agreeable with seconder of the motion? Okay.
I'll second that.
So, all right, that's just been incorporated into the main motion by the maker and seconder of the motion. So that motion, now in my understanding, is that we request that Deputy Attorney General Brian Stockton write a letter in the name of the commission presenting these 3 candidates, the candidates have already been determined, in no particular order. And go ahead, Commissioner Pearl.
Mr. Chairman, I think because of the statutory language in it, that it should be on letterhead, on the commission's letterhead, and should be signed by you. I don't care who drafts the letter, but I think because of the statutory scheme, that it should be on commission letterhead and should be signed by the chairman.
Okay. That's the motion, correct, Mr. Vogler?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure we had the mechanics of everything set up so it would move smoothly to the next level. That was my only concern.
Okay, does everybody understand the motion? Has been clarified. All in favor of the motion On this phone, Commissioner Macbeth, in favor of the motion?
No.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
In the room, signify aye by raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay,
If I could interject.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just on the phone with the AG's office, and we're checking to see if we actually did write that letter. So, you know, you can make your motion or you can wait, and we're confirming if we did write that letter the last time.
I know it was written by a Deputy Attorney General. I've seen the letter.
Wayne Howell, I think.
Yeah, that's who I was talking to, and he's double checking because he doesn't recall doing it, but he's going to double check.
It's in the minutes, too.
Yeah, well, and regardless, we can ask him to do that, and this will be communicated. Go ahead, Commissioner Pearl.
Either way, Mr. Chairman, that's why I made the observation that I did, is that it should be on commission letterhead, signed by the chairman, and it could be on commission letterhead, signed by the chairman on behalf of the commission, and that I didn't, if you want the Attorney General to help you to draft the language to make sure that it is statutorily correct, that's fine.
Okay, excellent. All right, so this is about, is everybody clear on the motion? Okay, we've already been voting on it, so we're just going to continue. Now, we had a no from Commissioner Macbeth, a yes from Commissioner Vogler, and in the room, all in favor signified by raising their hand, and I believe we had Commissioner Kevin was in favor?
No.
Opposed? Okay, in favor, Commissioner Capurro, Howell, Schrum, Vice Chairman Lent, and opposed in the room to that format, Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Wallace. Motion passes 5-3.
Just
All
for,
right. Yes.
just for the record, I opposed that vote just because of the content of the letter, not the procedure of sending the letter.
Yeah. Okay. Opposed that because of the content of the letter, not because of the procedure of the letter. Okay. Fair enough. We will come back to order tomorrow. We stand in recess until tomorrow at 8 a.m. I've